Hey everybody, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash episode 18 video. Right after the episode, people were just tweeting me gifs of people crying, like just reacting to that big twist. I feel like it's probably one of the better episodes of this season. There was a whole bunch of foreshadowing for the rest of the season. Some of you probably picked up on some of the visual Easter eggs too, like on the metahuman bus. So I'll try to explain everything. If you're finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Remember, we're almost at the finale. Pour out a bottle of your finest Gene Gold for Elongated Man. Nice of them to bring that back a couple times during the episode. But number 10, on bus number 405. So this is them just going back to the scene of the crime, so to speak, to investigate Folded Man. There's a poster on the wall here. I believe it's pronounced ukiyo-e. It is basically foreshadowing for the Samuroid attack later on. I didn't know if it had any deeper significance than that, but it's just a specific Japanese art style. And I think that was just supposed to be a visual reference, but it really tees up the big lesson of the episode that we do not kill people. So that becomes a big runner, but it's kind of a red herring when you find out the real reason why Ralph is so dead set on putting the thinker down. The other thing here is that you get that flashback, which is kind of funny. It shows you how far Ralph has come, also sort of teeing up the emotional twist at the end because they really want you to care about Ralph, so they show you what a douchebag he is. Barry makes a very meta reference later in the episode where he says, "We like the new Ralph. We don't want him to go away." That's like the show being really self-aware about what a douchebag the Ralph character was at the beginning of the season. He was a creepo. He was making all kinds of weird comments about the women's bodies. Now he's like a genuine hero. He's come so far. You did an amazing job of teaching him, which is why the twist is so effective at the end of the episode. The other really big thing too is this season I've gotten so many questions about the bus driver. People would talk about the 12 bus metas. What about the bus driver? Does that make him a meta too? They don't give you any answers about that, but you finally actually see him in the flesh. So you know that there was a bus driver, so it just throws a little more fuel on that fire. I think for the most part, the point of this episode was to get rid of the metahuman chase aspect. He's got all the powers, he's got the dark matter that he needs, so now it's just Team Flash trying to stop him from bringing his plan to fruition and finding a way to save Ralph. Number 9 was the Sonic Scepter, sort of teeing up the Harrison Wells arc, but all I could think about when Cisco said the most powerful tuning fork in the multiverse was the cosmic tuning fork built by Alexander Luthor during Infinite Crisis. That was used to recreate the multiverse. Number 8, you get that funny introduction to Folded Man. It reminds me of a scene during Infinity War that I will not specifically talk about here because I think people are trying to avoid Infinity War spoilers. If you really do want to know what that was, just look at my Twitter feed, but it's exactly like a moment during Infinity War. So it's just kind of funny, haha, because they're making all these Marvel references. Like they made a Thor, son of Odin reference after they fought. They go to their version of Burning Man, like just hippie commune in the woods, off the grid before he became a meta. So there's just a lot of like funny moments so that you're off guard when the Samuroid attacks. Number 7, of course, was that Samuroid attack. He rushes Caitlin off, and we learn all about how she's learning to control her powers. She's got this really effective tool. The funny thing about that, too, was the twist at the end with Melting Pot's powers. Oh, you just figured the powers out, but now they're completely gone. Barry catching her midair and rushing her away also reminded me of when he saved her from Ronnie going nuclear back during season 1. We haven't seen a lot of Barry and Caitlin because they've been drilling down so much on Barry and Iris getting married this season. Then you have all that coffee shop girl stuff, so there just hasn't been as much Barry-Caitlin scenes because they've been setting up a big payoff with Barry and Iris at the end of the season, I think. But number 6 was Harrison Wells being totally addicted to the thinking cap. I felt bad for Cisco and his Enterprise model. Obviously Star Trek reference. They also made an X-Men reference too. Another Fox Marvel reference when Folded Man was talking about accidentally porting into Professor X's lair. He was in this chair. He looked just like Professor X from X-Men. The thing I really liked about Joe this week, in addition to that badass Samuroid takedown, apparently he knows how to use a katana now, so do not mess with Joe. But the really big thing was the way he brought Francine back. Remember his wife? She was addicted to drugs. That was what drove her away from her family, while she was apparently pregnant with Wally West. But they kind of let you know the direction they're going with this Harrison Wells thing. Like, he's just addicted to it. He's not turning into the Reverse Flash or anything like that. Number 5 was Barry versus Elongated Man. I think people were really happy to get that explainer speech from Elongated Man later in the episode that contextualized why he was being such an asshole. It's not because I'm afraid, it's because I'm so afraid for my new family, the only family that I've ever known. But on the way to that, you have a couple really cool fights. So good special effects sequence of Barry running around his fist, him putting the tuning fork in his chest. It's just a good way of reminding you of the powers that he has. But I'm really happy that they didn't linger on Elongated Man versus the team. But I think that's one of the reasons why it's such a good thing from a story standpoint that they did what they did at the end of the episode, so that you don't have to sit through the rest of the episodes with everybody being assholes to each other. Number 4, Team Flash falls for the Thinker's trap. Remember, the Thinker anticipated everything that happened in the episodes, so knew that the Samuroid would attack and cause Elongated Man to do what he did that would lead to the domino effect of Team Flash eventually trying to enter the Thinker's lair. So we get a Die Hard reference, we get a couple, badass moments with the characters, but really this is all build up to turn Star Labs purple, which is actually a really cool effect, even though it's a really simple one. You're just like, oh shit. So number 3, it winds up being the B team versus the Thinker and his wife. Round 1 is Elongated Man versus the dinosaur that she grows and then animates with her powers. So it was a good takedown. They give him this hero shot. It kind of lingers on him for a second. This is them showing you superhero Ralph, like the standard hero shot that you give big superhero characters in movies. Round 2 was Joe versus the Samuroid, which mostly takes place off of screen. But I love the way that they set that up. So it's even a big stunt just to get them into that moment, because the Samuroid throws its sword at Joe and he just reaches behind him without even looking and yanks it out of the stone and comes after it. Round 3, I think, is probably the best fight because it's Iris versus Marlize, and she taunts her with who cares the most about their husband. All of you big Iris West stans probably went crazy for her in this episode. One of the best Iris episodes. I do think, if you are a really big Iris West fan, I actually am expecting some bigger twists in the finale. Like, they're foreshadowing a lot of things with these storylines. I think they'll pay that off. So if you think this is a really big moment for her, like just taking the sword to take down Marlize, great fight scene, there's something even bigger coming for her character. Obviously, on the other side of that, you have Harrison Wells that over-juices himself with dark matter and it blows up, disabling him a little bit. There's probably going to be some permanent damage, but they don't really address it during the episode other than him being slightly unfocused when they're examining Caitlin. Come on, Harry, focus, and he's kind of puttering around. There is something seriously wrong with him, but there was just too much other stuff going on in the episode to really focus on it, so we'll probably learn more about what happens with that in next week's episode. But remember what happens to addicts when they don't take their drugs anymore? Their bodies start going into withdrawal, so just expect some really messed up Harrison Wells the next couple of episodes till they fix his brain. But number 2, of course, the Thinker gets the remaining 2 bus metas, takes Melting Pot 2. People were like, where's the Melting Pot character? We haven't seen him in a little while. He was in the Pipeline prison. So when Ralph walks up, he's just finishing taking those remaining powers before he then takes Ralph's powers, forcing Team Flash to watch. Remember, he's controlling all the technology, so he turns the monitor on so that the people like Iris and everyone else in the control room have to watch him take Ralph's powers, which is what makes it so much more heartbreaking because you actually have to watch it happen. If that wasn't enough though, at the same time, he also says melt when he holds up Killer Frost, so he's taking all of the metahuman DNA out of her, so there's no more Killer Frost, effectively dead until we find a way to restore people. But remember, we like Elongated Man, we hope that he comes back next season in some way, so what they might do in the next couple of episodes is find a way to restore people back to their bodies. But obviously the big moment of the episode was number 1, where Ralph Thinker turns back into Neil Salen's Thinker. It's a younger version of himself, and since he can make himself look like whatever he wants, he has the darker hair, he has the haircut, he's not all frazzled looking. But remember, even though this is great payoff for his character and it's a really crazy moment, think about all the demented stuff that he's been doing to Marlize, his wife, this whole time. But also he reveals the Enlightenment device. Just looking at the schematic, it seems like it either generates some sort of field or blows up, has some sort of area of effect that will upgrade, enlighten everyone's minds, as he says. But remember, this is supposed to be for the entire planet. So let me know in the comments, what did you think of the episode? What was your favorite moment? And how do you think they're going to defeat the Thinker? I think episode 20 is supposed to be another Coffee Shop Girl episode, but I'll post my trailer video tomorrow. Black Lightning's finale is tonight, so I will try to do a Black Lightning finale video tomorrow sometime. But congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Morg1330. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. Click here for Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey movie, and click here for brand new Infinity War. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.